All right. Looks like I'm cooking with gas. At least somebody's cooking with gas. Oy, make it comfortable here. So we're just going to edit the videos, and if anybody joins me, they join me. If they don't, they don't. Alright, so in editing these videos, one of the things that I come across is I might have some really good sound. Like this wasn't too bad. There's a couple birds in the background that's pretty light. So what I'm going to do is just right click on that. I'm going to edit in Adobe Audition. I'm working in Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Audition. And let's see, Audition, there we go. So what I have here is there's like a lot of noise. As you can see, it's like there's a lot of pink. And if we look here at the screen, I get caught up. If we look at the screen here, you can see this area down here is kind of like high. Let me turn my volume up here so you guys can hear it. So you hear all that static and kind of like there's an underlying rumble. What I can do, because none of the birds are down this low in the sound chart, for some reason I don't think it shows the whole thing. Anyways, what I can do is just go in and I select it and then grab a chunk of it, and I literally hit delete and get rid of it because I do not need that sound. I can get rid of it pretty easily. Then the next thing I do is I go up here and I grab the marquee. The marquee is just your little expander decreaser tool. I don't know how to better describe it. And I'm just going to kind of scroll through this time and see if there's any spot that's blank. Okay, see how there's like this big pink glob? Oh, that's a bird song. So we hit it. It's a little cheap. But you see here, there's nothing. So we want to grab the nothing part. So we're going to grab that. And then we go to effects and we go to noise reduction and restoration. This is the really cool thing I love about Adobe Audition is getting rid of this. So what I can do now is I can hit capture noise print because the sound you get outdoors is really crappy, especially if you live in an area where you have like other people that live near you. You have any other sounds, motorcycles, airplanes, dogs barking, cars driving by, cars honking, people mowing their lawns, leaf blowers. I mean, the list goes on and on. So to get rid of those sounds, what I do is I go in, I made the selection like you saw, and I do capture noise print. And then this is actually a print of where the sounds are. So you have the decibels and you have the kilohertz that they're going to go at. Now we just go click off of that so we don't have it selected. That's important. And then we're going to expand this back out so we can see the whole timeline again. You move this over a little bit here so we can see how well this cleans up. And then what I want to do is I don't want to get rid of all the sounds. So if I go to noise reduction, if I went to 100%, it's just going to obliterate everything. So I don't want to do that. I want about like somewhere like high 80s, 90s. And then I want to also reduce the decibels. So I want to bring the decibels down a little bit. And that sounds kind of weird because you're actually increasing the decibels to bring them down a little bit. But just follow along. And I'm going to apply. And shaboom, you get this. Now this is pretty cool because now we go in, we play it. We can hear that cheep really well. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. You can hear the bird song pretty well. So now it sounds a lot better. And I can take a look at the whole thing and see it looks a lot better. Now I've got noise here, so I'm going to take a look at that and see. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that noise. I can go in and see if I can block this off. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't like the tinkling part. So just go in and decrease this, and I try to find it. I think it's that part. Yeah, the problem is if I delete it, it's going to delete the bird song too. So I'm just going to leave it. Then what we do is go to File and Close. It's going to say, do you want to save it? I say yes. All right, before anybody who is an experienced editor comes at me, I do not change the names on these because there is no need for me to. Actually, I will probably go in and name this bird song because I might use it again. But there's no point in me changing names for these video clips because I simply don't need to. I don't. What would I label them? Squirrel eating nuts? So I'm going to turn that back down again because it doesn't sound good when we're scrolling. And then I literally just need to scan here and watch what's going on and make sure that the video has the animal in it. And now here we have the little chipmunk. That little chipmunk that you see there, he's a shit. He will run everybody off. He tried to eat a mourning dove the other day. Like he full on jumped on the mourning dove. Unfortunately, did not have that on camera. He's attacked squirrels before. All right, and I just realized you can see part of my camera leg. So I'm going to back up here. You can see right down here, you can see the very bit of my camera leg, and then you can also see my other GoPro sitting right here. So to clean that up, now to do that, I need to click on that clip in particular. And we're going to go over here to scale. Waiting for it to catch up for you guys. Oh, let's see here. Give me a second. So drag that over so we can see it. So I'm getting a couple things coordinated on my end. Okay, now you guys can see it in the screen. All right, so this is your effects control panel. I don't speak English well. And what this panel allows us to do is make changes to whatever section is highlighted. So this is the highlighted section here, and the effects control panel is what's making modifications in that section. So all we need to do is just increase the scale, and then we can drop that down a little bit. And then we have the leg out. So Chippy comes back on the scene right about there. So I'm going to hit Q to delete that segment. I try to make sure there are no spots in the video that don't have something going on them. And the main reason I do that is because I want to keep your cat entertained. I want them watching. I kind of base it off of what my cats do while they're watching this. If they're, they're really interested in it, what they look like, and then that's how I modify my editing technique. And we just scroll back. And then what I'm doing is over here you have your selection of tools that you have. You have your pointer tool and you have your cutting tool. Those are probably going to be the two that you use the most if you do video editing. We're just going to cut it. All I did was just choose the razor blade, hit cut. Now we're just going to scan forward. I really do like these top-down views because the cats really do like them too. They like that kind of perched view. And once he goes mostly off screen, I'll go ahead and cut it there. If you get the idea to do this, you will need cameras. You could probably get away with like an old phone, but I suggest going with something like a GoPro, because the amount of times I've been caught where it's rained and it wasn't supposed to rain is numerous. Plus, if they're outdoors, they're really taking a beating from the sun. Sun, ants, squirrels, chipmunks. I think probably the most damage comes from the squirrels hitting the cameras. That or the birds landing on top of the cameras. I'm just going to hit the letter Q, and that'll bring me to the next segment. There's a lot of different things that you can do to make editing go faster. Like if you hit Q, it goes to the segment that's in front. If you hit W, it goes to the segment that's behind. Just ripple deletes it from where your playhead is. So that's kind of nice. Out of about, in any given day, out of about an hour of video, I maybe get 10 to 15 minutes of actual usable content. So the volume of video that you have to shoot is just off the charts. Let me see if any of that sounded good. Actually, that does sound good. Okay, we're going to grab that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlink it. And the reason I have to unlink it is because I'm not going to use the video. So there's no point in keeping the video and taking up the extra space. Now what I'm going to do is right click on it, and I'm going to open it in Adobe Audition to edit. And now you see this beautiful mess that we have. And this is just tons and tons of information. So we can see there's a lot of birdsong on this. All of these ups and downs are birdsong. This is most likely, that's a plane. And I think I'm going to do something a little different. I don't think this is what I want to do. All right. You'll need tripods too. So many tripods. Ridiculous quantity of tripods. Alright, so I'm going to break this little tool I've got here, because why not? Oh, for love of Pete. Right now I'm having a fight with a piece of equipment. Sometimes the equipment works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Let's see if I can get my proverbial shit together. I'll make this work. Oh, for love of Christ on a cracker. Get it to shrink. All right. I'm editing video in Adobe Premiere Pro. We're just gonna have to kind of like stick to a little frame for you guys to be in. So what I have right now is Adobe Audition pulled up to edit audio. Let's see if I can get this screen. I can't get that to do anything. All right. So what I'm gonna do is basically everything that's below, right around this kilohertz, I don't need. So I'm just gonna go delete it. And that does a really fast cleanup of a lot. I could go in and pick it up and drop the decibels way down, but there's no point in doing that. It's just a waste of time. But what I'm going to do is go up here, and you can't see where up here is, but I'm going to go up and grab the marquee. There's the marquee. I'm going to grab it and shrink it way down. We've expanded that timeline, and what we're doing, the goal is to take a look at it and figure out where there isn't any sound at. And by I mean any sound, I mean like a bird chirping. So you see there's a bird chirp there, but right here, it's pretty much just dead air. How do you get rid of that sound? Well, I could go in and do like history remover, but sometimes that doesn't work really well when you're doing outdoor videos. You get more things removed than just the history remover, and that really kind of sucks because then you get rid of your bird calls too that you want, and if you want your bird calls in the video and you get rid of them, that kind of defeats the entire point of doing the video. So how do you manage this? Well, you go up here to, let me show you. I have to move this camera around while I'm doing this so you go up here to effects, and then you drop down to noise reduction and restoration. It's going to pull up this little menu. It says noise reduction. You go, yes, please. I'll take some of the noise reduction. Thank you very much. And then you click on this, and it captures the noise print. Now all that means is it just makes basically like an image of the noise print, so it captures what that noise print sounds like. And what I like to do is I don't want to decrease it too much, because if I do, I might knock out some bird calls, but I do want to decrease it enough. And I also don't want to decrease or increase the decibels or decrease the decibels so much that I wind up losing a lot of sound too. I want to get rid of the sound, but I don't want to lose all of the sound. And the problem is a lot of these sounds overlap. So it's kind of like a fine line between the two. So I'm gonna hit up, well, if I hit apply right there is all it's gonna do, is a segment. So I'm gonna hit apply, and I was gonna think about it, and now look at that. Look how beautiful that is now. It doesn't have any of that like clutter on it. It's really nice and cleaned up. So if we go back and we listen to it, we just get the bird song. That's all we got. We have that pretty little twirl. It sounds so pretty. And that means that it's just, you know, it just stays cleaner. So if we go here, we play it. So now we've just got this nice clean audio. So all we have to do is just expand the timeline. I'm just grabbing that marquee at the top to move it around. I know you guys can't see it, so I'm sorry. See, like, you can see a little bit, but not much. And I can't make this thing smaller. Okay, so now we've got the timeline and we're looking at it. Now I'm looking for like anything that's gonna be like a fire truck, ambulance. We live on a street that's a connecting street between two main streets. So there's a lot of road noise between those two main streets. And that means that there's a lot of ambulances that go up and down the street. So a lot of times, you know, they're running the sirens and you get the siren thing. And the cool thing is about the sirens is I don't have any on this video, on this segment, but if I find one, I'll post it. The really cool thing is that they're very easily identifiable because they look exactly like how you would think they look. They look like a squirrel. So it goes up and then comes down, then goes up and comes back down and kind of whirls around each other. And I think that this just, I think it's really cool. But I'm a nerd. So all I'm going to do is hit Control W, and that's going to bring up my save menu. And I'm just going to hit yes, please. Now, if any of you are die-hard editors, I want you to just take a deep breath and not freak out because the way that I edit video is different. If you notice, my video names are like GPX or GPO. We'll slide you over here. So my video names are not, I don't bother naming them because I'm shooting video of squirrels, chipmunks, and birds. What the hell am I going to name the videos? I have to shoot about 10 hours of video to acquire about maybe 2 hours of usable content. So you can see it will be a massive waste of time for me to go in and label any of these besides whatever the GoPro decides to label it at. I do shoot with GoPros. And I have different little areas I've got set up so the birds can come in and feed, the squirrels and stuff. Come in and feed. Sorry, I'm talking so much I'm yawning. So I'm just going to scan forward here, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get this camera a little bit further back so you can see what I'm doing over there. So all I'm doing is just scanning, and I know it looks really exciting, and I'm just looking at this to see if anybody's on the screen. So a lot of this work is boring AF. There's just nothing exciting going on. Like I said, about 10 hours worth of work, or 10 hours worth of video acquires about 2 hours of usable content. Because it's completely up to the critters. All right, so here's something that you might not know that's going to come in really, really handy if you do video editing. Learn your shortcuts. Do it. Learn your shortcut keys because your shortcut keys are going to save you a crap ton of time. For example, this is a keyboard. The Q key, don't make fun of my keyboard and how dirty it is. The Q key will ripple delete this from here to the next segment. The W key will ripple delete this from here to the next segment. So knowing those on the keyboard, you can save yourself a lot of time because you're not cutting with this little device. Like if I did it this way, so if I did the Q, it'd be automatically done. If I do it this way, I have to click on it, and I have to right click, and then I have to go up here, and I got to choose ripple delete. And that's kind of a pain in the ass, right? Like that's like a ton of stuff to do. It's a ton of work. So let me just hit Control Z, and I probably shouldn't do that. Let me hit Control Y. So now I got to go back to where I was. All right, let's scan forward real quick. Okay, we got our little chipmunk. There he is. He's coming on the scene, and we're going to hit Q, boop, and it's automatically done. So we just took 3 steps and made 1 step, which is awesome. It's just so much more fun when you can make it super, super, super simple. If you have any questions on editing video, if I can answer them, I will be happy to. I've been editing video for about 3 years now, 3 or 4 years. And I am, oh, thanks for the hearts. And I am basically a learn as you go. I just keep learning new things. I suggest if you get into editing video, you want to learn like little bits at a time, because if you try to learn it all at once, it gets a little overwhelming because there's a lot to learn. So what we're gonna do is just scan forward and see our little chipmunk. Now, see, I don't like this because I can see excuse me, this right here is my camera, and I can see the legs of it. I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do is I click on this. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. Control Z. I right click on it and I get the effects panel to pop up. Now the effects panel is like the coolest part of this. So the effects panel is where you can make all these different changes to your video. And this is something that's going to be really, really handy for you. So I want to increase this so I can get rid of that, which means I just need to come over here to the effects panel, and I'm just going to bump that number up a little bit. And then I can move the video down a little bit. So we're just moving it down, reframing it, just making sure it doesn't, like, I don't wind up getting part of it caught. Okay, now it's looking pretty good, because this looks like it's part of the leaves. And like if you didn't know that was a camera, you would think that was just the leaves. So now it looks a lot better. And all that's done over here in your effects controls panels. Like you can change the rotation, you can change the scale, a whole bunch of different stuff. You can crop it. There's just tons of stuff that you can do. And then, don't get me started, because there's a whole other panel that doesn't show up because there's so much stuff over there that you can add things to it. And one of the things that you might want to learn how to do is do a preset, because that will save you a lot of time if you do kind of the same editing all the time. So presets are like just fancy shortcuts. That's all a preset is. The one thing that I've noticed, like when I was doing the tutorials, when I was watching people like explain stuff, is that they take like a really, really long time to explain really simple stuff. And they make it seem like a lot harder than it actually is. It's not that hard to learn this. The problem is that there's a lot to learn. But if you've been around computers basically your whole life, which, you know, assuming most of you probably have, if you can do an Excel file, you can do this. Excel, I mean, like, yeah, if you've got an Excel file experience, you can do video editing. You see my camera's creeping up. Okay, so now I've moved on to another one. I don't want to use any of that. So what I'm going to do is just go in and click on it and ripple delete it, which is way up there. Click ripple delete and it just gets rid of all of it for me. And as I go through this video, I just basically keep doing this over and over again to get it cleaned up. I have these different, like, I call them venues, or like little areas set up around my yard. You're probably going to see my leg at some point, or when I'm dumping stuff on. Because you can see me working there on getting this set up. So let's see here, just like there's so much dead air. Oh, there he is. He's so cute. This is the best part of this, really, because I really do like watching the little animals. I've got chipmunks that are, some of them are butt heads, I will say that. Some of them are just mean. So I'm hitting the letter Q, and that edits it to the next segment, so I don't have to do the whole cut and ripple delete, because that's kind of a pain in the ass. So now we have the chipmunk going to come down here. It's going to just stuff his little cheeks on the way. Oh. And he's gone. Let me just hit cut bar in there. And then I'm going to scan forward. Let's see if we can... If I do it the other way, it's going to be really hard for you guys to see it. So, alright, so we get the little chippy. He's going to come in right about... Here's he's coming into the scene. He's going to be right here. You can see just the tip of his nose. So I'm going to hit cut bar. I'm going to ripple delete. Hit play. And then I'm just going to scan some more. Let me see if I can get that further down for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. See our handsome guy. Oh, thanks, Alexa. I appreciate the hearts. All right. The thing that drives, these are videos I make for cats, and the thing that drives cats absolutely bonkers is when these little guys get into the grass, or the leaves and stuff, and they're like around. Cats just lose their little kitty cat minds over that one. So actually, I'm going to wait until he comes kind of back out into view, and then I'm going to ripple delete that. So I'm just going to scan forward here. Nope, he's gone. Chipmunks are just insane how fast they are. They are so quick. So quick. All I'm doing is just rolling through. I know it doesn't look like anything's going on the screen, but I am literally just scanning through here as fast as I can, because I don't want to waste any time. I really wish I could figure out a bot to do this, because it'd make it a lot easier, but it'd be really hard to explain what you want with everything, because I've got stuff that moves on the screen. Alright, so I'm going to cut. I could have done the Q on that. It made my life a little bit simpler, but I kind of forgot. And again, him being in the leaves and rustling around just drives cats crazy. Oh, did you see that? He's like, you say, what you looking at? He's so cute. This is so adorable. Some of them are like missing chunks out of them. I'll tell you what, chipmunks they're mean little guys. They might look cute, and they might be cute when people feed them like nuts and stuff like that, but man, to each other, Chippies they're fierce. So I just did a cut on that, and then we're just going to scan forward and see what else we got. Occasionally I have a blue jay that visits this spot, but I think it's just going to be this chipmunk who's dominating today. Now I'm going to hit Q to do that, and we'll scan forward some more. And back up so you see like chipmunk butt disappearing chipmunk butt. So I do about an hour of editing at a time, because that's about all I can take. I need to take a break because I start kind of just zoning out too much. So I got a squirrel at the top of the screen. You guys can't see it, sorry. So I got a squirrel up here at the top, but he's not really in the frame enough to include him, so I'm not going to. Gonna wait till that chipmunk comes back out. So in a second here, I think the chipmunk's gonna pop out. There we go. So the chipmunk's out, and we'll just kind of a cut right there. We'll hit a Q. And then we'll scan forward. There's just like a little bit here with the rest of that segment. And then it switches and it's got a whole new thing. The one thing that I do have a problem with is that some of the GoPros that I have, they just don't record in like long segments. They record really short segments. And the older GoPros that's what they do. They just record like short little segments. So you will have you'll be missing a few seconds between segments, or a few, to me it's like, seems like forever, but sorry. You will be like missing a little bit. So that's one thing that you want to do. Now what I just did there is I just went over here to my effects panel. Let me show you. Went there to the effects panel, and I just increased the scale. And literally it is this easy. Boop, 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 boop. And if we do it, boop, 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 boop. And you can just play around with the scale. You can also play around with the rotation. So like if it doesn't feel like it's quite right, you can change how it looks by changing the rotation. And you can do like a lot of other, you can modify like how the colors and everything else are. You can make all those changes. I don't, because all my stuff's nature stuff, so I'm really not worried about the colors. My colors come pretty good, saturated, so I don't really have to worry about them being not good, for lack of a better terminology. And I do want to listen to this and see what this sounds like, so let's turn the volume up again. And back here. So I don't know if you guys hear it or not, that is a lawnmower in the background. So when you have sound like that, what I can do is go in here and I can click on it, And then I'm just going to go to Edit in Adobe Audition, which is right there. And it's going to render and replace. So basically it's just going to open Adobe Audition is what it means. And now I've got this open in Audition. Now this is the part that's like all of this down here. That's lawnmower. So anytime you see this lit up in the bottom of your sound, that means that you got sucky sound. Especially if it's like this, because it's just such a low sound. So we can isolate just that. And you can hear it. Now the problem is that I've got bird songs up here, right there as a bird call. Let me get my timeline over a little bit. So it sounds really pretty, right? Okay, let's just do that together. So it sounds like crap. So what we can do is we're going to take the marquee. The marquee is the thing at the top. It's like your little timeline selector. Just going to grab that, and we're going to shrink it way, 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 way far down. I'm grabbing the other side of the marquee. So I'm just expanding my timeline when I do this, and I think I just spotted a problem child. No, okay. I have a GoPro camera that for the life of me, and if any of you know GoPros, let me know if you have a solution because it's driving me crazy. I have a GoPro camera that beeps. I have told it repeatedly to not beep. I have turned off the beep repeatedly, and it still beeps. If the battery's out of it for any amount of time, it must reset to a factory setting, and it beeps. And it drives me crazy. Because then I have to watch my videos really closely because it beeps all the time. It beeps when the battery gets low. It beeps when it just beeps all the time. It drives me nuts. Okay, so how do I get rid of all this, like this? This is just, bleh, it's like this sound. Well, I go in, I select a segment of it. I make sure I'm not hearing anything else. So there's a lot of like listening. All right, so I'm not hearing anything else. I don't hear a bird sing or anything like that. I don't see any bird calls. And you can tell where the bird calls are. We can look at that. And that's pretty evident, right? Okay, so what I do now is I go up to Effects, click on Effects, and roll down here to Noise Reduction and Restoration. Go to Noise Reduction, and I grab a Capture Noise Print. And I have to click off of that, and then I want, this is a good frame for me, about like high 80s, low 90s, and right around the 50s. If I bump these all the way up, it's just going to obliterate all the sound. And then we hit apply, and the magic happens. Doop a doop a doop a doop doop doop. Bam! Look at how much nicer that looks. It's just wow! It's like incredible. But we still have the sound at the bottom. It's still coming through, right? So I cheat. I don't have any problems with cheating because, I mean, this is really obnoxious. So I know that almost all of my bird calls for the area that I'm in are going to be below about 1500. So I just go in and I go over to where my kilohertz is out on the side, which you guys can't see right now, and I go to about the 1500 mark, and I select all of it, and I hit this magic button called delete. And I give it a second to think about it, and it deletes it, and all is good and right in the world. And I hit play. Still thinking about it. And I get this nice clean sound. How beautiful is that? Did you hear that? That was just so pretty. It was so crystal clear. And then my sound's nice and clean, and I don't have to worry about it being all gross. So now all I have to do is hit Control W. That brings up my little close window here, and I hit yes, save it. And if any of you are experienced editors, I want you to just take a deep breath. I do not change the name of these from what GoPro has given me, because it does not matter for what I'm doing. If I was doing video editing where I had people I was being interviewed and stuff like that, it would matter. For what I do, it does not matter. So please, 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 please don't come at me in the comments. Not that that's happened. People get very upset about it. It's kind of interesting how upset they get. All right, so we got the chipmunk. Came into the scene. We're just going to cut it. And now I don't want to lose that because that was pretty good sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to go over here to unlink. I've unlinked it. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to click on it again. And I'm going to go to clear. And now I've cleared it. And now I've got this segment of sound. So what I can do is I can expand my timeline here. And you see I've got a couple chunks of sound. So I'm going to hit the V key. The V key. I'm a poet and don't know it. Hit the V key and I can actually just grab the sound and I can just drop it below other segments. And then that just gives me a layering effect and I ripple delete. So now I have extra sound, which is really cool. I like that. That's good news. And it just makes it nicer when the video all gets together. Now I'm not going to play it over this one because that's going to sound horrible because I haven't edited this sound yet. You can usually tell when you've edited sound because it'll look more like this does here, where it's like nice and flat. Whereas if you haven't edited the sound, it'll be like this gloomy thing right here. So we're just going to scan forward here. Looks like we're going to do a fair amount of cuts, so I'm going to decrease my marquee, increase my timeline. Look at my cute little chipmunk. Isn't he adorable? He's so handsome. It's like he knows it. Alright, he's getting ready to jump off screen. And he's gone. So I just got to scan back to the part where he gives off. Straighten out the crick in my neck. There's a lot of this back and forth stuff with this. There we go. Okay, now he's off screen. I'm going to hit C to get the cutting tool to come up and cut it right there. And that's pretty much the process of editing videos. It's like there's a lot of just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with editing. Sometimes I get asked like, what's my process? My process is late at night and just focusing for about an hour at a time is all I've got in me before I get distracted like I'm getting right now and looking for other things to do besides that, even though I'm talking to y'all. I do get distracted pretty easy. So we're going to scan through. This looks like a lot of blank space. Oh, there's a little chipmunk. There he is. And I like catching them right when they go on the side. So again, we're going to go up here and we're going to go to unlink. And then we're going to get rid of that top bar. Come down here to our thing, hit V so we get the arrow key. So now we can actually play that. We play this one, you can hear. Let me turn it up. You see there's a little bit more layer to the sound. That's because there's two sounds there. I hit the ripple delete, bring that together. And I think that's going to be the end of the show. Have a great night. I'm going to bed. Oh, 4 more minutes. There's nowhere. All right. I just realized I still have the YouTube one going.